Hi, everyone. I'm here again with IFS projectionist and cinema studies student Anastasia Matthews to talk about some of the titles available on the IFS website and where distributors are splitting proceeds 50-50 with us, especially during this time when we're all hunkering down during the quarantine. I'm going to talk about Beats, and it's the first one that's up. It's directed by Scottish director Brian Welsh, and here's a trailer for it real quick.
Do you want to listen?
Where'd you get that mad from?
Robert's right.
John, get in the car.
Him and his family are scum.
Please, open the door, man.
They want to privatise our minds. Keep us in our separate boxes.
Rave to the grave, the biggest night of your life, Scotland.
Yes!
Is it a party?
It's a protest. Friday night.
Can we come with?
An illegal rave.
Are you mental?
Donald! Please, mate.
Hello, Colin. It's about Jono. He won't be coming in today. He's dead. Aye, we're all pure gutted, like. I'll pass that on.
They want us to get in line, but we won't. They want us to be afraid of each other, but we're not.
That boy dragged you down.
Just you try and stop us all.
Where lawlessness prevails, people become a danger to themselves.
These are really proper best pals, aren't they?
I'll see you on the other side then, mate.
Well, so not only was this directed by Brian Welsh, but it had a lot of executive producers, including Steven Soderbergh. And Beats, as I should make clear to people, friends here locally in Boulder, it's obviously not about beatniks, as you can see from that trailer, but rather this is about a criminal justice and public order bill in the UK and drafted in 1994, which outlawed unlicensed gatherings at which amplified music is played, wholly or predominantly characterized by the emission of a succession of repetitive beats, ergo the title. Basically, the goal was to kill raves, and this is the story of two young guys who defy that ban to attend a big life-changing party. It's got beautiful black and white cinematography, a really trippy sequence in the third act that introduces some inspired color schemes. And you also have subtitles that they don't just make the dialect easy to follow, they also translate certain words so that you know exactly what they mean. Boulder Weekly film critic Michael Casey gave it a nice review, and he also said something when he was describing the chemistry of the two protagonists as that of two little otters adrift at sea, which I think it hits it right on the nose. Anastasia, what did you think?
Well, when the film opens with the title card explaining the order and the law going into place, and when I saw that, I thought I was in for kind of a newer version of Footloose, but what followed was what I thought was a really engaging coming-of-age story set against the backdrop of the rave, and it was constantly challenging the limits of camaraderie in a way that I thought worked very well. And the movie was a bit on the nose for me, or a little too on the nose at some points, but it definitely held my attention the whole time. And there were some really great shots in that monochromatic color scheme. Something that comes to mind is the screen grab. In this shot, there are the different cars leaving to go to the rave, and you just see that rush of them coming towards you, which was really nice. And then I also thought it had an effective use of television and radio to communicate the opposing sides of order and law versus the rebellion working against it. And then, of course, the sound added a really nice touch to the pacing of the film. So this was a film that I definitely enjoyed watching.
Yeah, no, it's got a lot of verve, it's got a lot of style, it evokes a place, it evokes a time, and you really get a sense of England in that, and youth in 1994. Now, Beats started, I think it was last Friday, and still running for a little bit of time, but we've got something opening up this Friday, which I haven't seen yet. So why don't you tell us what your thoughts are on the documentary that will be available to screen starting this Friday?
Yeah, so this Friday, July 3rd, we have John Lewis, Some Good Trouble. And to say that this documentary is timely would be an understatement, but I think that it's a film that's worth watching regardless of cultural climate. In terms of form and content, I think it's pretty straightforward, but it has the interesting perspective of engaging with an older subject who has been an activist since a very young age. So in combining archival footage with contemporary footage, the film paints a really comprehensive personal account of race relations in America since the 1960s, and specifically John Lewis's involvement with that. And one thing in particular that stood out to me was and it was made incredibly poignant, I think, with the use of archival footage, was a segment on the training held for the lunchroom counter sit-ins. Seeing actual footage of protesters being taught how to nonviolently react to verbal and physical aggressors was just really impactful to see. And it was also interesting to see John Lewis react to this footage himself. Sometimes there were things that he himself hadn't seen. So seeing that pairing, it was interesting. So I think this film is relevant to any audience, and it's definitely worth checking out. So this Friday, July 3rd.
Excellent. And thank you for joining me as usual for this. Thank you for taking the time to watch the movies that we're showing. And I just want to emphasize to anyone watching that really the titles that we have available on the internationalfilmseries.com website range from $4 to $12. And it every little bit helps us out in a big way. So please do check out what is available and know that you're doing us a solid, and also that you're watching what are basically theatrical video on demand titles. These are titles that normally would be seen and that are not available. Most of them are not available on Netflix or other platforms. They're ones that were meant to be shown in venues, art house venues and independent venues such as ours. And it really helps us out if you go and check it out. So if you are doing that, thanks so much for doing that. And also I will add, for those who didn't listen to my podcast with Alex, I still have a couple codes for our friends over at the Texas Theater who are doing a double bill of some of Alex Cox's films. And if you watch this and you'd like to go to the Texas Theater website and watch a couple Alex Cox films for free, just send me an email and I'll give you first come, first serve. Got some codes so you can watch those for free over there. We hope to do something similar at the IFS website. And if we get that up and running, I'll let people know. Until then, thanks for watching. Anastasia, thanks for joining. And we'll talk again next week.
All right.